paper. And I am so excited to film this video today. If you're watching, you probably already saw that I am pregnant. And I'm gonna film some pregnancy updates to share with you guys throughout my journey here. Mostly because I just love watching other people's pregnancy updates and pregnancy vlogs. So I thought that I would share as well. So if that's something that you're interested in, keep watching. Today I'm gonna share about my week 3 and week 4 symptoms, which are kind of also known as the 2-week wait symptoms, because most people, including myself, don't actually even find out that you are pregnant until like almost four weeks, because that's gestational age. So you find out you're pregnant and then like a couple days later it's 4 weeks all of a sudden. So super exciting. I'm going to tell you kind of how that went and the symptoms that I had. So I actually found out that I was pregnant. I got my positive test, my big fat positive, on 10 DPO, so 10 days post-ovulation. And so that was actually like 3.5 weeks, and then 14 days is my 4-week mark. So I'll kind of talk about the symptoms I had before my positive pregnancy test, and then the symptoms that I've had from 10 DPO to 14 DPO after that. So I really, to start off, I didn't think I was pregnant this month. I was kind of disappointed. I thought it was going to be another month where it didn't happen. So I didn't have a whole lot of symptoms before my test, my positive test. But I did have a few, so I thought I would share those with you. One thing that I noticed, and if you see me looking down, I'm sorry, I kind of jotted down my symptoms on some paper so I wouldn't forget. But one thing that I did notice is I had not really nausea, but more so it was just like a heightened gag reflex, which I know sounds really weird, but I work at a school and I work in the health room quite a bit, and you know, gross things happen in school health rooms. And normally it doesn't bother me. I have a pretty solid stomach. I don't get nauseous very easily. Things don't usually get to me, but oh man, things got to me a little bit, and I was like gagging that week before I found out I was pregnant. I just kept having like a gag reflex, and it wasn't like I was actually going to throw up. Like my stomach didn't hurt. It was just like I had got that urge a little bit, which was weird. So that was a little off. Gus, sit down. This is my dog, Gus. If you haven't watched my videos before, he stars in a lot of them. He's a doodle, and he loves sticking his face in. So here he is. But anyways, in addition to a heightened gag reflex, I also had some bloating. I just felt more bloated than usual. Nothing like extreme, like you didn't notice if you weren't me, but I noticed that I felt and looked more bloated than usual. And then especially as I got closer to that 10 days, 10 DPO, I was definitely getting tender breasts, more so than I ever get from my period. I don't usually ever really notice that I get that before I start my period. So when I started noticing that, I got excited because I thought maybe that is an early pregnancy symptom. And sure enough, it turned out to be. So those were really the only 3 symptoms that I particularly noticed before I got my positive pregnancy test. From 10 DPO to 14 DPO, I started having quite a few other little symptoms as well. So I continued having tender breasts, and I also continued having kind of, not nauseous, but just off a little bit. Kind of the gag reflex a little bit. Things smelled a little bit worse to me than they usually would if they were an unappetizing smell. So maybe a little bit of a heightened sense of smell. And I just kind of felt off with my digestion in my stomach. So not nauseous, but just off. I also did have blood brushing my teeth twice, which I don't normally get. So that was a little different. And I also got much more emotional and tired than I usually do. We went on a camping trip this weekend with some friends of ours, and everybody was staying up super late and like partying and having fun. And I was so tired. I was like, oh my gosh, I have got to go to bed. I'm exhausted. And I told them I was going to go to bed one of the nights because it was like 11:30 and I had woken up at 5. And I was like, sorry guys, I'm going to go to bed. And everybody was like, Amy, don't go to bed. And they like kind of jokingly yelled at me. And I literally broke down in tears. Like, not in front of them. I started walking away towards bed, but I like started walking away and started crying, even though I knew they were like totally joking. It was ridiculous. But I don't know. I think something was going on. Either just a lot of exhaustion or a combination of like emotions from hormones and exhaustion, but something weird was happening because that doesn't usually happen. So that was kind of funny. And then the other symptoms, like I said, just continued. So those were really my only symptoms for the most part during week 3 and 4 of my pregnancy. And I'll just kind of continue filming every couple weeks. Probably I'll do like every 2 weeks. Give you guys an update. Unless I had a really particularly interesting week, then I will update you more often about how things are going. I'm also going to kind of tell you about what's happening with the development of the baby as we go along, but it's so early right now. Really all that's happened in weeks 3 and 4 are the egg was fertilized, and then the egg traveled down the fallopian tube into the uterus and embedded in the uterus and just kind of started multiplying and developing in the uterus. So mostly all that's happened is fertilization and implantation at this point. But I'm super excited, and I'm excited to share with you guys as well. So if you are interested in this series and if you would like to see more, definitely give me a thumbs up and subscribe. And I'll look forward to talking to you guys in another week or so when I am at 6 weeks. So I'll talk to you soon. Bye.